You are streaming live now from Fox on this Tuesday, April 26th. You're hearing the voice of Regina Gonzalez with you live from Orlando, Florida. This is a very tragic story right here in our own backyard that happened just last month that we've continued to follow for you here on Live Now from Fox. It's certainly garnered national attention. And we've got a new development happening today, and we've had some new developments over the last 24 hours. So today we're expecting to hear from 14-year-old Tyre Sampson mom for the first time since he fell to his death from a drop tower ride in Icon Park just last month. We're also learning more about the wrongful death lawsuit that was officially filed by the family. So important to mention that Tyre was visiting on his spring break, and he's actually from St. Louis, Missouri. Well, that is actually where we have Fox 35's Ray Villeda joining us live with special coverage from St. Louis, again, where that family is from. So we do want to welcome him on to our show here. Ray, good morning to you. Really a lot to uncover here, but that lawsuit certainly places blame on a lot of entities. So can you kind of elaborate for our viewers here?
That's right, Regina. So the lawsuit is 65 pages long, and as you mentioned, it names at least 11 defendants, including the owner of the ride, the manufacturer, and the property that it sits on in Orange County at Icon Park. As you may recall, the 14-year-old fell to his death late last month from the Orlando FreeFall ride in Icon Park. A report showed that the seats that the ride had been altered before it was inspected to fit larger riders. It showed Sampson was not properly secured before he slipped out and fell to his death. Engineers say that an average opening for restraints is 3 inches, but Sampson's was as much as 7 inches. His family's attorney said to us yesterday that this could have been prevented if the manufacturer had put a $22 seatbelt, an added restraint on that ride, preventing that fall. We also heard from the attorney for the slingshot itself. I'm going to read you in part what that statement said. It read in part, Orlando Slingshot continues to fully cooperate with the state during its investigation, and we will continue doing so until it has officially concluded. We reiterate that all of the safety protocols, procedures, and safety measures provided by the manufacturer were followed. The attorney spoke to us yesterday for the family, for Tyre Sampson's family, and he told us they don't want to settle. They are adamant they want this to go to trial because they have a lot of questions they want answered. Those questions being, why did this 14-year-old die unnecessarily, falling about 100 feet to his death from that ride? So we expect the mother to be emotional as she is set to speak at around 11:30 Central Time here from St. Louis, Missouri, where they are from, where he was visiting from. That family heartbroken, of course, to have lost their son in such a tragic way. Regina?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I do want to reiterate to our viewers, Ray, and perhaps you could take us some of what we've heard from the family, because this is the first time that we are going to hear from the mom. Obviously, such a tragic loss. No one should ever have to bury their child. But we have heard from the father at some points on certain news outlets. And I do believe, you know, cousins were in town here in Orlando. Can you kind of walk us through what we've seen from the family thus far?
Well, the family was taking a vacation. Tyre was with a friend of his. They were taking a vacation to Orlando. He's an honor roll football player, student here in St. Louis, Missouri. They were there at Icon Park. They had actually been turned away from a couple of rides because of his size. He's roughly 380 pounds. And so that's something else that's brought up in this lawsuit, that he shouldn't have been on that ride in the first place, because according to the guide, the manuals for that ride, the maximum weight is around 280, 287 pounds, and he was roughly 100 pounds over that weight. So this was one of the few rides that he was allowed to get on during his trip to Orlando, and of course we know the tragic outcome of that. So we have heard from his father. Of course everyone is heartbroken, but this will be the first time that his mother speaks out and talks to us about what she's been going through this last more than a month now, since the loss of her son, her 14-year-old son, an honor roll student, a football player who had a long life ahead of him, tragically cut short.
Yeah, and you know, Ray, you are standing in the middle of his hometown. You know, since you've gotten there, have you been able to speak with anybody who may have known him? And, you know, I know obviously this happened right here in Orlando where you and I work, but what has it been like being where he is from?
Well, I'll tell you this, we were not the only ones to arrive here from the media. There is a lot of media here in town. A lot of people want to know how that mother is feeling. It will be the first time that we hear from her. So what we're seeing is there's a lot of anticipation wanting to see what Nakia Dodd has to say about this whole situation that has tragically changed their lives. Again, she's scheduled to speak at roughly around 11:30 this morning here in St. Louis, Missouri.
All right, well, Ray, we certainly appreciate you joining us to kind of give us a little preview of what we could expect. So we will be touching base with you again here a little later in our show. But until then, thank you so much, and we hope you have a great day.
You too. Thank you.